We're going to have you blind rate 10, in our opinion, Clippers legends. We're going to give you the player, and we're going to have you just put them on a list 1 through 10. Your first player is Luke Mbamute.
Ah.
GMLB family, welcome back to another episode of Good Morning Let's Basketball. We thank you all for being here. And before we get into anything, my name is Mike, that's Victor, that's Kev, and we do have a special guest, GMLB family. Today we're joined by Alvini Linguine, who's known for bringing high-energy humor and historical insights to NBA YouTube. With a channel that has over 71,000 subscribers, we welcome Alvini to the GMLB show to discuss a major problem facing the NBA in 2024, viewership. But before we get into that, Alvini, we thank you for being here. Go ahead and tell the family about yourself. How you doing, man?
I am doing amazing. I really don't have much to say about myself, but I guess just to keep it simple, I always wanted to be in the sports media field, went to college for it, attempted the whole college basketball thing. I appreciate, just getting the opportunity to even be able to attempt it. Didn't work out. And as I tried to do college, I studied the sports media world more and more, and I just wasn't into it, wasn't into trying to climb a corporate ladder. So I was like, cool, I'm just going to make a YouTube channel. I always wanted to have a YouTube channel, or at least a successful one, ever since I had a kid. I was always stuck on YouTube. I wasn't really much for TV. And, well, 5 years later, here we are. It worked out.
Yeah, I got to say, it's worked out great for you.
I was gonna say the college ball career. Did you try walking on, or would you?
I walked on to
offer?
a D2 school. No, I mean, I could have gone the JUCO route. Honestly, if I was very serious about basketball, I definitely would have called that one of my regrets in life. I don't have any regrets, but if I wanted to take basketball more seriously, that would be one of them. But yeah, I walked on at a D2 school. Coach and I didn't really gel all that well. He wasn't much of a player's coach. Personalities didn't mix. I was just like, okay, well, I can't, before NILs and stuff were huge, because I was a couple years away from that. Maybe I could have tried to make my case and go somewhere else, transfer portal style. But now, like I said, it just wasn't for me.
Yeah, the JUCO last chance U route. I see a lot of people do it, and they find some success in it, but it's like so hard, like going that JUCO route, like a small school, and then just going D1. Incredibly difficult.
Lord knows I am a hard worker, considering what I'm doing with my channel. But like I said, there's only a small group of people that can ever really make that college basketball thing work out. I just wasn't chosen to be one of those few.
Yeah, it's true, man. Especially what you said about a coach. They can just really make that much of a difference.
Coaches can really ruin some people. I'm telling you.
Yeah, we got our experiences. But you got that Clippers jersey on. Tell us a little bit about it. Are you a LA native? What made you a Clippers fan?
Oh, no. Unfortunately, I am here in the deep South. I'm here representing Birmingham, Alabama. So basically for me, again, I wasn't really much of an NBA viewer when I was a kid. I was more of a college basketball viewer. And I used to be a North Carolina fan until I started repping Alabama full time. But no, a younger me was just really enamored by Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin at Oklahoma was like the best thing I've ever seen. Got, shown him the first time through Sports Center. They ended up playing North Carolina during the tournament, I believe. And after he graduated, went to the NBA, I'd never seen him ever again. But when I got a little bit older, started to be a little more interested in the NBA. There he was on the Los Angeles Clippers Sports Center top 10 almost every morning, enjoying my little cereal and highlights, dunking on everybody. And I was like, oh, there's where he is. So that's when I became a Clippers fan. I simply followed Blake Griffin onto the team he was on. Enjoyed it when he was on ESPN because, of course, League Pass wasn't a thing. I wasn't in LA to watch all the regular season games. So whenever he was playing on ESPN TNT, that was the only time I could really, see him in a primetime setting.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you started liking NBA over college basketball, or are you still one of those people who prefer college basketball over the NBA?
Honestly, I'll take either or, because nowadays I can watch a lot of college ball, but obviously, unlike the NBA, there's 32 teams. So I can keep up with all 32 teams. There's too many colleges for me to keep up with. So nowadays, I'm just mostly watching SEC basketball, just keeping up with all the SEC stuff. And then when it comes to big time programs, I'll catch a game every once in a while. But no, I'm definitely full-time NBA. Got my league pass good and ready, watching as many games as I can, just keeping up with all the stuff that's going on. But yeah, when I was younger, it was more of I didn't really take basketball that seriously type of thing. It was just whatever was on was on. My dad would just have on ESPN in the mornings, and of course, so just come by his room, hear all the notable people that be doing the commentary on there, go in there and watch whatever was on. And like I said, as soon as I saw Blake Griffin for the first time on Sports Center, that's when I was like, oh, cool, I just gotta find these Oklahoma games wherever Oklahoma is.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear that you're an Alabama fan because they're shaping up to have a pretty good season this year.
I
Mark Sears
actually
and all
watched
that.
them last night. Yep, I was in Coleman Coliseum last night watching them play McNeese State.
Gotcha. We're from Indiana, so we have Indiana University and Purdue. So we're only an hour away from another or a couple ranked teams up here. So we're looking forward to some matchups.
Yep, and y'all play Alabama on Friday. Funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be a pretty decent game now that big old Zach Edey is gone, because that game, seeing them play last year was so annoying, because obviously I'm sure for every team having to deal with a 7'4" monster down there. I don't know if y'all agree that got that magic whistle to him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I say that is a nice sort of watch for some people. It wasn't for me. You just have to take what you can get. Not many people can be born to be 7'4", but I'm glad to see that he had that great career and is trying to transition into the NBA.
So I do got a question for you. Considering you came with their Clippers jersey, I need your opinion on Kawhi Leonard's legacy, but the caveat is in 3 words or less. What's your opinion on Kawhi Leonard's legacy?
Joe Ingles sucks. When I tell you everyone on Clippers Twitter has a vendetta against him, myself included, literally one little mishap is what tore away everything. I cannot stand that man after that now. It was an unnecessary bump into him, and that one bump is all it took for his knee to just become just absolute glass.
Yeah. So
if that never happened, for me personally, the Suns would have been easy, and then I don't know what would have happened with the Bucks. Giannis is a matchup nightmare for most teams.
Yeah, I was gonna say seeing Joe Ingles on that Timberwolves bench is, oh man, he's on the Timberwolves, right? Am I tripping? Timberwolves, yeah.
He's on the Timberwolves now.
Okay, yeah. I remember seeing him check into a game, watching them, and seeing him run up and down the court, man. I don't know how he's still in the league. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not sure.
When he gets to that age, I'm sure it's probably more of maybe a veteran presence. Who even knows? Because he doesn't even have like a vital role on the team now that Dante DiVincenzo was there. So maybe he was stopped to be the backup before that trade happened.
Yeah. Being a Clippers fan and all, what's your opinion on the Intuit Dome? We're big fans of it over here. So coming from a Clippers fan, have you seen anything super special that you like about that place?
Honestly, the Clippers wall is so funny because just seeing the fact that, and I've seen this like literally watching the games on League Pass, the fact that the away team is always so flustered by the wall, Clippers fans just yelling stuff at them, and seeing how they would miss more often with them down there compared to being back at Staples. And Steve Ballmer really wanted to make that arena something special for fans who want to sit down and watch the game. Whether it be it's funny to hear this, but having the world record of bathrooms in there, having the USB ports to be able to charge your phones. I'm trying to think, there was other stuff. All the presentation, the Halo thing, got to be awesome. Yeah. But unfortunately, due to me being cheap, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to go up there unless I was paid to go up there. Because Lord, I don't think I have enough money to keep up with people in California.
Yeah. Not even
from
just
flying up there to Ubering to getting a B&B or a hotel. Like I would be absolutely cashed out if I ever have to go up there and watch it. Oh yeah, and then buying the ticket in the first place, getting decent seats. So I'm sure for the people that can afford it, it's a great time to be over there. But for people like me that grew up in the Deep South, I cannot even wish to go up there and watch a game.
Is it true that Steve Ballmer tried to mimic the like college experience with that stadium?
Yes.
I heard something about that.
Yep, because he ended up getting a jersey from every single school in California, I believe, to really match that presence. Because even down at Alabama, they got the same thing going on. Not with the high school thing, but like every single player that went to the NBA from there, they got a jersey from there, hang it up on the wall. So he took it a step further. He said every single high school in the state got to have a little bit of representation on the wall.
Damn.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't either.
sweet.
Yeah, that's a lot of high schools to get. But it's kind of funny what you mentioned about like wishing and wanting to go to LA and catch a game up there. I got curious when we were just like planning everything, playing the pod. Just like if I were to catch a Clippers game in like January, like what would it cost? So the ticket prices weren't too bad. It was a game against the Heat. If you sat way, 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 way up there, damn near on
Yeah.
the Halo board, the prices weren't bad. But the flight wasn't too bad either. Granted, I was looking at Spirit. So I feel like it's a lot of
Ooh.
people, yeah. So making it there is a blessing in itself with that airline. But it was just funny because I feel like a lot of people, like, it's not just me that's like, yo, I gotta see the stadium. KD already said, like, yo, that's the best stadium ever played in. Y'all probably gonna get him next year. You never know. But
Yeah, because I've been seeing a lot of news online talking about the way they got their contract structured with everybody is the fact that they are really trying to go after a lot of stars in the 2027 free agency class. And hey, if you're impressing them with the facilities that you have, because it goes way farther than just the stadium. The facilities are top notch. About to say they got like a little resort thing over there when it comes to their medical clinic. Like there is a lot to be desired over there. The only problem is you're representing this cursed franchise. So I mean, if you don't mind, if you're not very superstitious, I'd say, hey, come on and be a Clipper. At least you could try to, think of yourself as the underdog compared to the one that's over there at Staples. But I have a Paul George jersey, and I accidentally picked that one out first, and I was like, I don't want to represent him anymore. Got to bring out the Kawhi jersey.
Yeah, might as well.
Love the picture of them like breaking the ground when they started building the stadium. That was a classic.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Seeing Russell Westbrook in a construction jersey, and everybody was using that picture whenever he had a bad game.
I was literally just about to say that. He definitely fed the internet when they posted a picture of him in a hard hat. They're like, oh, Westbrook laying bricks. Who would have thought?
NBA social media is a blessing and a curse because it can literally be anyone that looks like a player or them doing like a charity event, like Jared McCain wearing a Canes shirt, talking about I dare him to have a bad game.
My favorite one I saw was a Lakers media day. They had a D'Angelo Russell saying something in Chinese.
如是呼應地忽然多，如是來所謂對的，是咪心跳
to the camera. And I was like, why do you think that was a good idea? And people were saying the same thing, like, bro cannot afford a bad game all season. He better have like,
and now he's playing off the bench.
average 30 at least.
Oh man. So what do you fellas say we hop into the meat and potatoes here? I got a little introduction topic to kind of kick us off here. So GMLB family, the NBA has a viewership problem. As we all know, ESPN's opening day doubleheader averaged 1.6 million viewers, down 42% from 2023. TNT's Thursday game featuring the Mavericks coming off a finals appearance and Wembanyama's Spurs saw a 29% decrease from last year's comparable game. Finally, ESPN's Friday game averaged under 1 million viewers at 830,000, which was fewer than a college football game on ESPN2. The trend is continuing downward for the NBA entering week 4. So what's the reason why? Some say streaming services, some say the product has become high-volume three-point shooting, others say there's no face of the league. Alvini, you have the floor first. What seems to be the biggest problem with the product in your opinion?
It's really a multifaceted issue. Like either you have people who are leaving the game, and as someone that makes the content online, I'm seeing plenty of people be like, man, I don't even watch basketball anymore, but I love your channel just to keep me up with everything. I find that the most disheartening, that people are just straight up not even watching the stuff anymore. Cable isn't exactly a way to go anymore because in my case, living in Alabama, it's, you got ESPN, you got TNT, and I think I have access to Bally Sports, but Bally Sports only gives me Hawks games and Memphis games. And I don't really want to watch Hawks games, and Memphis is, 50-50 if Josh going to play right now. And then even going into their next TV deal, they're going to have sports on what? Peacock, NBC,
and Amazon.
Amazon. I'm like, you're spreading it out too much, and that's not going to help you at all. And then you go from that to, of course, the illegal streaming services, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And trying to think, there was, and then, of course, the play style, which is probably knocking off a lot of the older crowd, my dad included, because he'll watch all of the morning TV there is when it comes to sports. But when I ask him, do you want to watch this game? Oh, Bronny might be playing tonight. He's like, because he was a Lakers fan back in the day. He's more neutral on everything. But which is funny because I'm the Clippers fan. But what I'm trying to say, because like I said, it's knocking off a lot of the older crowd. I remember the last time I've ever seen my dad really interested in the NBA was game 6 of the 2018 Western Conference Finals. James Harden about to knock down the Warriors. That's what it was. And then he got pissed off. Like, I think that game ruined it for him. He got pissed off by Houston Rockets missing 20-something straight threes in a row. And then after that, anytime I mentioned basketball around in the NBA, he just wasn't interested. I swear that knocked off all the joy for the NBA.
Yeah, that was that watching those highlights back is always brutal. I think it was 27 to be exact, I think, right?
Yeah,
27?
It was like 23 or 27. It was something in between there.
They built the Intuit dome with all those bricks, man.
But I think it's a multifaceted issue because there's just so many angles they have to attack, but there isn't just one thing they can fix to make that problem, to alleviate that problem in the slightest.
Yeah, I think you said it best when you said kind of like from your own experience, like your own fans have even said like, oh, I don't even watch basketball. I just watch your channel to keep up. I feel like one thing that we talked about before is how like, social media, Bleacher Report, ESPN, like if you have Instagram or Facebook, TikTok, they're always posting the highlights to the games. So like, why watch the full game when you can just see the 10 coolest plays John Morant had on Instagram the very next day? So I feel like just with social media always just posting highlights, you can always just watch the highlights on YouTube 30 minutes later, right after the game. People just would rather do that. And then another thing we also mentioned that you also brought up was also just like the streaming services. I really like the way that a lot of other sports do it. Obviously, they all do it different, but the NFL has Red Zone. And so a lot of people are able to watch it like that. NBA, there's League Pass, but I don't really like to compare the two just because like Red Zone is so great. League Pass is all right. Obviously, other sports like boxing, UFC, they have pay-per-view, which nobody pays for, but a lot of people still watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of like a multifaceted issue. That's definitely the best way to put it. And the viewership, like it's just tough.
Yeah,
just
you can't attack one and then expect the whole thing to just be, oh, cool, viewership's back up. Because, basketball is forever going to stay one of the bigger international sports. It's either that, baseball, soccer. But at the same time, if the NBA ain't getting the eyes they want, that's when things are going to have to eventually change, whether it's for better or for worse.
Yeah, and the thing with like the TV deals too is like a lot of these like local bars and stuff aren't able to get every single streaming platform to be able to watch the games. A lot of people go to bars and restaurants to watch these games, and they can't do that, having to pay for like 3 different streaming services. I know that's been a problem with like the NFL this season. I was trying to go with my brother out to eat, and we couldn't even watch a Thursday night game because the bar couldn't afford to get the streaming services on every single one of their TVs.
It was funny because I remember seeing one video, one image on Twitter where a guy showed a restaurant showing a game off of Streamies. And that was the funniest junk I've ever seen. Because honestly, I don't even blame them. I don't even blame them for doing something like that.
That'd be my restaurant for sure.
If LeBron's using it, I mean, you might as well, right? If
somebody went after an NFL player for doing it too. I'm like, that's the way to go.
It is. The streaming services is definitely taken over cable TV, but they're like so expensive too because you can't just have one and watch everything like you would like regular cable. Got to get Amazon.
Everything's got a 1099.99 every month type of deal. It's kind of ruining a lot of things outside of just sports and television.
Right, because no one's just going to get league. Like the casual fan isn't just going to get League Pass to watch NBA. Now they have to pay for Amazon, they have to pay for Peacock, they have to pay for NBC, whatever the case is. Also, like I kind of like what the way the NFL did. The NFL, I keep referring to them because, unlike the NBA, the NFL like owns a day of the week.
Yep.
When you think Sunday, you think football. We're gonna go to church, we're gonna come back, and we're gonna watch football all day. Even Thursday and Monday, they own those days of the weeks too. But like Sunday is for football. People take the Monday after work off after the Super Bowl because like it's this big event. The NBA, they just don't really have that. They don't own a day of the week.
I think another thing too that's kind of like with the streaming services and the whole product of NBA is I've seen a lot of people complain about like, the NBA now having a lot of ads and there being a lot of time away from the game. And I don't know what are you guys' thoughts about that. Because like they're saying like there's not enough game time or actually like watching the game while watching it on TV.
I hate to say it, but I really don't even notice it. I guess I'm just there watching the game, and I just consider that a normal part of the experience is watching the ads, and just kind of turn my brain off to it. Because, like I said, I watch the NBA every night during the season. Having the league pass on one screen and then doing whatever on my other screen. So I rarely sit down and watch the game like by itself, unless it's like a special game going on my TV. But even then, I guess I really don't even take that as an annoyance or something to really notice for myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say occasionally some of the ads, because I know there's obviously ads on jerseys now. There's ads on the court. They're doing ads during free throw shots now, like a lot more frequently. So like during the free throw, they'll zoom out and give like a little ad read. I don't know how long they've been doing that. I haven't really noticed it until this year because it's pretty frequent. But I think that's pretty interesting too, because I mean it's literally cutting away from the free throw for an ad placement. So
yeah,
I kind of get what you're saying with that, Vic. I think some people could find that like a little much considering all the other placements that they've had in maybe like the last 3-4 years since the Nike switch. I might be a lot later on that. It might be more like 7 or 8, but I don't remember when they switched to Nike.
Honestly, that does sound like a bit right. It might have been like around the Nike switch. I think that was probably around like 2019 or 2020 maybe. But even like on the court, you see like ad placements and stuff. It's just like there's ads everywhere. You can't get away from it.
Yeah. Because like I say, even for me, I kind of turn my brain off to all that type of stuff. So I don't really even have much of an opinion towards that. Mm-hmm. But I can understand other people's grievances about, ads being everywhere because it's just, I guess it's just became synonymous with the game, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. To the point to where, I'm not even really noticing it to be much of an issue.
Yeah. I do kind of want to circle back a little bit back to the social media posting like highlights after every single game. Like I feel like people are encouraged to simply not watch the games. And that might be like a retention or attention span thing. But like if you follow like Bleacher Report, ESPN, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna see all the great performances. And it's almost inspiring like box stat watching. So I didn't want to bring up this Brian Windhorst quote. Brian Windhorst says, "No one is storytelling in the NBA or learning about players or player backgrounds anymore. They just want to see the highlights." And I mean, we've talked about on this podcast, like the NBA just lacking a player to identify with right now, as LeBron and Curry and Kevin Durant all age out. Like, who's going to be the next guy? Some people say Giannis, some people say Jokic, but it's just not the same in my opinion. So I kind of want to hear you guys' opinions on like, what do you think about like just players not having any backgrounds or narratives anymore?
Well, I'll give you this because I was talking about this with some people earlier. What was I about to say? What do you think about the NBA's culture of bringing up these athletes strictly through basketball just for the end goal of making it to the NBA in the first place? Because I argued that back in the day, I'm 25, so I really can't say back in the day, but just when it came to the player base and sports in general, it was more of a of a means to an out of their background than it was just, when it comes to a lot of these parents where it's just, oh, I got the genetics, or my kids got the genetics. I'm just going to make them train basketball every day, all day. But, what's it called? What are the people called nowadays? The Project LeBron, their way to the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
To where, because, some people complain about, it doesn't mean the word. I just can't find the better word for it. Nepotism when it comes to these NBA kids coming from NBA fathers or people with a lot of money being able to just be raised through basketball, make it to the league, continue the money train, basically being professional basketball players as kids. So with that, just to say this, a lot of them don't really have much of a personality because there isn't much of a personality to them in the first place. Their whole life is basketball.
That's a really interesting perspective. I've actually never put thought into it like that.
I've grown around athletes, man, and when I tell you the ones, you can tell the ones that had a normal life and the other ones that were just trained through it. They are so dull. Their whole life is basketball. And it's crazy to see. Like, I've been against NBA players in high school. I've been against high-level college players in high school and stuff like that. You can really tell the ones that had like a normal life and were just good at the sport, and the ones that have that one annoying dad that is always trying to control everything. It's wild. Like, again, and that's why I'm like, when you see these other guys come into the league and outside of maybe like Anthony Edwards that has like an actual personality to him, even though, he's kind of interesting in his own right. It's like, that's just kind of how, unfortunately, things are. Like, you got some of the ones that'll work their way up. And, obviously they're trying to keep themselves in the league. They're not going to do anything crazy. And then you have the ones that are prepped up to be this way. And with that, they're born to be professionals. It's not really much to them. They're just trying to ball, get their check, go home, rinse and repeat. Some people even say that a lot of these guys don't even have the will to really want to win and do much more after they make it to that final stand. Because for some of these guys, it's like, make the NBA, get my rookie deal, be good enough to get that extension, near max extension, depending on what type of team you're on or how you're doing. And then it's like mission complete.
I was listening to this podcast called Modern Wisdom, and he had a statistician on there who was really a big NBA fan. And you brought up that point of having that like nepotism. And he was saying that if you have a family member in the NBA that has played, your likely chance of making the NBA is like 1 in 30 or 1 in 40. I can't remember the exact number, but it's a pretty damn good chance. And then he was saying if you're over 7 foot, it's a 1 in 7 chance.
Yes, that wow. I know. That one I know.
1 in 7 is pretty crazy. But that's kind of the direction that I was thinking when you initially brought up that question, Alvini, was like, I feel like just the hunger is not really there anymore.
Yeah.
These guys make a lot of freaking money, man. And especially like now, a lot of the top guys, the millionaires in college.
Yep.
True.
Yep. So
true. Even high school for some of them too.
Even high school too, just with the whole I don't even know if this is going to make sense. Ballers Life YouTube channels, they post the high school, the games.
Like Mikey Williams.
Dude, yeah, he was on a 2K commercial in high school.
Yeah, like he was getting millions of views, hanging out with NBA YoungBoy in high school. Like he had it before then. It's like, is that hunger even really there? He got his check.
Yeah.
So it's like that hunger just really ruins everything. Like I've heard like professional fighters say, like when they're 30 years old and they've made millions, it's a lot harder to wake up in the morning and get punched in the face. when you have $100 million, it's a lot harder to wake up in the morning and try to outwork this guy in the starting lineup or try to be the GOAT. Like it's not really, the hunger's not there anymore. Some people still have it, but a vast majority, I would say it's fading, which is why I think a lot of people don't like watching the current NBAs because, they're not trying. They're just shooting threes. They're just trying to get the highlight.
Yeah.
Circling back to what you said about your father, he can't stand it nowadays. A lot of people can't.
Well, I forgot who it was, but it was like a former NBA player, Antoine Jameson. It was Antoine Jameson talking about how a lot of these guys don't even know how to do a simple pick and roll. They don't even know the basics. Like I said, they're grown up with the skills of it, but the all around game just is not there. And there had to be taught basic concepts as soon as they get into the league. I think it was either Antoine Jameson or someone else, but I believe it was Antoine Jameson that said that.
Well, even LeBron said he was able to flip a play at 8 years old, and that guys can't do that in the league today.
On the JJ Redick.
Yeah, and the JJ.
I was gonna say one thing LeBron also said. It's like now it's not about the basics and fundamentals anymore. It's about like, oh, do they have a bag? When it's like that doesn't matter. Like, oh, he doesn't have a bag, this and that. And it's funny, like players don't know how to run pick and rolls. Some of the stars today don't even know how to run a pick and roll. You ever seen
Mhm.
Giannis try to set a screen for Dame? He like sets a
Oh,
soft screen. He sets a
they
soft screen and then kind of just like mopes to the basket. And it's terrible to watch because Giannis is Giannis and this dude could be the duo could be so much better, but it's like not even really a duo because they lack the simple stuff.
Well, I don't even know about Giannis because in his case, basketball for him was that means to an out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, he was probably taught a lot of stuff as he was getting a little bit better and better. I guess a pick and roll wasn't really a part of that.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the picture of him. I mean, he literally served in the military, so like definitely agree it was a means to the out. I know
Yeah.
it's required there, but I was gonna say, I just think you guys are right, honestly. I think just there's no players. I mean, Anthony Edwards is really the one player who has a personality right now. And Jokic, Alvina, I'm not sure who you think the best player in the league is, but do you have a who you think is the best player?
I mean, yeah, I had to say Jokic. If I had to
Okay.
just say one, yeah, I definitely would say Jokic.
Gotcha. I didn't want to speak for you. I wanted to make sure like you agreed it was Jokic, but I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people consider Jokic the best player in the league right now, and he's, I mean, we all know Jokic's personality. He's that guy who literally has no personality when it comes to basketball. Like he's quiet.
Yep. Clocking in. Just clock
Yeah.
in, clock out. Let me get back to my horses during the summer. Boom. Rinse,
hmm
repeat.
And then we got, you have Embiid up there, and Embiid's complaining about, I've done so much for the city on a $300 million contract or whatever. It's like that guy doesn't want to play. Like you don't see the drive really in him. So it's just like which of these top guys has that drive? And it really is just Anthony Edwards, I think. So you guys hit a lot of the good points there. That's an interesting perspective for sure.
Like I said, when it comes to these guys who are just bred to be this way, I'm
Mhm.
not surprised by the fact that they don't really have much going for them because they weren't really allowed to just be children. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
know, I know a couple of trainers local to my city that do that sort of thing with their kids, and I'm just like, why can't they? Why can't kids be kids? In
Mhm.
their case, I don't mean like in a regular case. I just mean in their case. Like, why can't you just let them goof around and have a personality rather than waking them up at 5:30 in the morning to dribble a basketball?
I did.
I'm like, no, because even because I obviously not NBA quality. I think I'm pretty decent. But even I tell my parents all the time, I'm so glad y'all didn't get me to do this because I would hate basketball if y'all woke me up pitch black in the morning to go dribble a basketball up and down the street or something crazy like that. I had to come to love basketball. And in that case, it took me until like high school to start really taking it seriously. By that point, obviously, it's too late. But I'm glad I was just able to have that natural growing up with it, having fun with it. Even though I wasn't really training or anything, I just had like natural athleticism and a lot of defensive skills to myself. But I was able to just grow up enjoying the sport. And then once I got older, started to understand it a whole lot more. It's like, okay, now I love the sport. Now I'll start getting better at everything. But for some of these kids, it's like the whole the whole personality is basketball and basketball only. And then everything else is everything else.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point because like if you want to have that goal of playing in the NBA or playing like professionally overseas or something, you have to dedicate a lot of your life to playing basketball. For a lot of guys, they're not blessed with being over 6'3", and being able to dunk and have crazy athleticism and just you have to grind every day to play basketball and basketball is getting a lot more competitive with more leagues opening up like overseas and different routes to get into the league with like G League, stuff like that. So like you have to sacrifice family time, you got to sacrifice your friends, like even like just playing video games or something, enjoying yourself. You just have to dedicate your life to that.
Unless you're Anthony Edwards. I know y'all seen Starting Five where he just
Yeah.
grinds Madden all day. He is
Madden.
he is
Madden
the one
and-
exception.
Madden and Fortnite. LeBron's a top 100 Madden player in the world. You know
People
that?
say that's not even
Are you
real.
serious?
I don't even know whether to believe that or not.
I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
I think they like showed a picture of his ranking and it was like actually facts. Like the game
Yeah.
sent it out. But something else I wanted to bring up kind of just with like viewership. I know we've talked about it in the past, is that the NBA right now at this very moment, they don't have that like global star the way that MJ was in the 90s,
Yep.
where like when they went to Paris, the people were just flooding the streets and just going absolutely crazy. And like they don't really have that global star right now that other sports like soccer has, like Messi and Ronaldo. Granted, that's a much more popular worldwide played sport, but even other sports like racing, like F1, like a lot of these players are like just like really known, or like fighters. Like the NBA just doesn't have like that global like poster guy right now,
Yeah.
to where
yeah.
people are like in other countries like, I'm gonna wake up at 4 a.m. to watch this guy.
Yeah, I think it goes back to that personality thing, because I'd say the last one was definitely Curry when he was on his his big time all time run in the mid late 2000s. Because, again, his personality bled through his game. He was very cocky when he was making his threes. He had the celebrations. Of course, not going to say created, because that'd be the wrong word to use, but he definitely was the poster child of the whole 3-point era we are now in nowadays. But like I said, after that, it's like I can't really think of any young player that just came into the league with that A-tier personality and is a winner at the same time, because through all of this, we still got to have someone that dominates the league enough to be recognized as that. We haven't had a 2-time champion in a row since the Warriors. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we haven't
probably.
had a two-time winner since the Warriors even happened for someone to be dominating the league. It's been the parity has been pretty good, which, some people say it's good, some people say that's bad. Because I remember peak viewership in the NBA was when Kevin Durant was with the Warriors, because a lot of casuals, liked the fact that they were just dominating every team. The fact that they was just playing basketball so easily together. And, something that a lot of people can just root for.
Yeah, that it's crazy how much viewers that Steph, KD, and LeBron bring in, because the gold medal game this year, when those three superstars were playing, was the most watched Olympic game since 1996. And then even during this season, Steph returned from an injury against the Celtics, and it was the most watched game of the season since
Right.
opening night with 2.1 million viewers. So it just goes to show you how much like pull these guys have in the NBA, and they haven't really found the face. There's great guys, there's great talent in the league. There's a lot of talent that nobody likes to talk about. Like another example with like the NBA being terrible at advertising a lot of these guys or marketing these guys that don't get news coverage, like Paulo Banchero, for example. He had a hell of a season last year, and this year he started off hot, but nobody wants to talk about him. The NBA media constantly wants to talk about like the same 5 teams: Lakers, Knicks, etc.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was about to say, I remember the big push for Zion when he first came into the league. I remember he was everywhere. And then what did he get? Did he get the 2K cover as a rookie? Was that his second year?
Which 2K was that?
I haven't played 2K since 2K20, so.
Oh God! But I believe it was either his rookie year or a second year where he got the 2K cover, and everybody was like, "Whoa, what is this push for Zion? Like, is it really that crazy?" And then with him, they stopped promoting him because he can barely even play on the court anymore. I guess he was supposed to be that next guy because he does have that A+ personality, but he never even played a playoff game yet, right? Yeah, he hasn't even been in a playoff game yet in 5 years.
Yeah, like they've like been there, almost been there, but he's been hurt. But honestly, even the very next season when LaMelo Ball joined the league, the Zion hype kind of faded because like, holy, LaMelo Ball is finally here. We've known about this kid since he was in 8th grade and he's in the league now. LaMelo's hype was crazy too. And then this year in the NBA draft, the rookies were so booty cheeks that they had to push 55 overall pick. Granted, it was LeBron's son,
Oh man,
but
yeah,
like,
and they sold out his first G League game. So hey, if we're talking about viewership, LeBron James's kid can bring it, at least in the seats. In fact, funny enough, I saw an advertisement for it. I think they streamed the game on Tubi.
Oh,
Really?
really?
Yeah,
no
I
way.
saw an advertisement for it. It was like, oh,
Wow.
the G League Twitter account said like, oh, come watch. Yes, that's what it was. Come watch Bronny James' first ever game on Tubi. I'm like, you gotta pay to see that.
Oh,
That's
man.
hilarious.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm
I did
surprised that
not know
just
that.
wasn't a live stream, like their best ever live stream type of a situation. Like, nah, they're trying to stream the game on Tubi, get some money back on it.
That's insane, man.
Not even like a ESPN2 placement or something.
So, Alvini, coming with the Clippers jersey, especially the player you're wearing tonight, what would this conversation be without talking a little bit of load management on subsequent injuries? So far, I think I saw the stat that there's more injuries this year
Yep.
than in the last decade, I believe. It might even be of all time. I'm not quite sure, but we've seen Embiid already saying he's not going to play back-to-backs. We've seen players get hurt. Chet just went down. But what's your opinion on load management and kind of just the league pushing for that 65 game rule for more for accolades? Do you think it's worked so far? Do you think players are feeling it? What's your overall opinion with that?
Well, I'll go on and just expose myself. I did not like the 65 game rule. Not in the case of getting the awards. I mean, like just pushing it down in general. Because NBA is going to prioritize money over everything. So even I would never think they would ever go down to 65. At this point, just seeing all these crazy injuries, they're playing in the Emirates Cup thing right now, and a lot of stars are now missing from it. It's like now I'm starting to lean towards, okay, I think I might have to lower it, because if these guys are just dropping like flies over and over again, yeah, I know it can't be good for viewership. A, B, you can't get the seats in the door, because if people are planning to come watch this game and someone is sitting out, like, you know what, let's take it back. Joel Embiid said he will never play in a back-to-back game ever in his career. Guarantee you, if someone does a study out there, and for the people that obviously keep up with that type of stuff, if someone does a study out there that compares the first day of a back-to-back to the second day of a back-to-back, how many seats are in the door off of that in a Philly home game, it would be drastic if people were to keep up with basketball and know off the rip that he will not be playing in that game.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be devastating, especially just this year now. Paul George, not what he looks like, but I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he needs to play a little bit more. Tyrese Maxey's out. And now you're telling me that Joel Embiid won't even play in back-to-backs anymore in his career? He should have never said that. That should have been something that people just would have speculated on. But him saying that to the media was a horrible blow to his PR.
I'm surprised that he jumped at that right away. Like, if he would have said, like, all right, if there's back-to-back second games, we're going to put him on a minutes restriction, I would have respected that. I'd be like, okay, sure. No one's going to like that, but that makes, I guess, a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
But, like, not play at all for, like, the next 6 to 8 years, however long the rest of his career is, that's pretty crazy. He's never going to win another MVP. He literally can't.
No.
he literally can't.
He'll take his one and take it to the bank. He'll take his gold medal and take it to the bank. I mean, again, it's just wild. But just getting back to your question, load management, I never really liked it in the first place, but I can understand to an extent, just depending on what these medical staff people say. Because with Kawhi, last year he wanted to play. He wanted to come back. He played the most games he's ever had. I think he played like 68, 69. Nice. But he played like a nice amount of games. And because he wanted to. The year before, he was trying to come back even earlier, but the medical staff was like, no, we're not going to allow you to do that. Because I'm sure some of these players, it's different than his case. He wants to go out there and play, even if he is, banged up. Some of these other guys, I could not tell you. But in the case of just the term itself, it can't be good for the league in general. Like, if these guys are honestly like hurt, or maybe it's like a mental thing, because sports is mental. Some people will psych themselves out over these injuries. then I can only just imagine this becoming a lot worse as the term gets a lot more mainstream within the league, and especially with these medical staff. Because in some cases, you're doing well as a team. Okay, cool. Giannis can sit out a night, hopefully. But, well, okay, that's a horrible example.
Yeah, maybe not this season.
Okay, I take that back. In years past, Giannis can take a night off with a little, bone bruise injury. Yeah, they're playing against random bad team. They're playing against the Magic before they had Paulo or something. Like, it just made sense. Nowadays, now they're even doing this on marquee games. Now you have players just sitting out during that type of stuff. That type of thing is crazy. It's you know what? One more little point. What's his name again? Embiid not playing in Denver since like 2015.
Mm-hmm.
It's a perfect example. Why would you ever avoid him playing Jokic in Denver? That's he hasn't done that since his like second year in the league. I found that crazy.
Yeah, the NBA probably has a really hard time scheduling national games for the Nuggets and Sixers because they're like, do we do it? Is he gonna play?
Maybe when they play in Philly, but yeah, it's funny because we talked about that maybe like a year ago. Like, is he dodging? He might be.
Yeah.
But the thing is with like Embiid though is when he's on the floor, he makes that Sixers team completely different. Yeah. Without him, they're terrible. They don't look like the same team as with Embiid on the floor. He makes that team top 3 team. But like with the load management and everything, I think there was a study done by The Athletic, or I can't remember who it was, but if load management helped like with injuries and stuff, and they said it was like no correlation at all.
Yeah. Because wear and tear is going to be wear and tear either way you look at it. And I don't think a day off is going to completely reset your body, reset your body's wear and tear.
Yeah. Do you think that was true? Or do you think they're just saying that for viewership purposes? Like, there's no correlation. You guys can play.
Studies are bought by companies all the time. It wouldn't surprise me. But again, I can't imagine one day off, one little rest day is going to help you get your body back in shape to be able to take on an 82 game season in the first place.
Mm-hmm. I will say,
did we even have anyone play 82 games last year? Now I think about it. I think Mikal Bridges was literally the only one.
There might have been a couple, man. I feel like last year there was a lot of people who played a lot of games just because of that 65 game minimum that you have to play. I think AD played a lot of games last year. I think he hit it. I feel like there's had to been a couple of the players that hit 82 for sure.
Oh no! About this, I was just saying 82 and 82. In fact, I can check that real quick.
Not like this player matters, but I think Nikola Vucevic might have played 82 games last year.
I got the list here. I'll rattle them off. So, Nikola Vucevic, Jordan Poole, Tari Eason, KJ Martin, Kevon Looney, Isaiah Hartenstein. Those all played 82, and Mikal Bridges played 83 because he got traded. Or I'm sorry, not because he got traded, but you know what I mean.
So what? That's 7 players, if I counted that right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 7 players,
and only like 4 of them are of actual importance to their team.
True
Iron Man.
The true
shout
Iron
out KJ
Man.
Martin though.
True.
So with the NBA season being like 82 games, do you feel like that is too long, or do you think that it's a fair amount?
Dude, I mean, I'm going to be like everybody else. It's going to affect a lot of things if they were to shorten it, when it comes to records, I guess even just commentary on the sport in the first place. But if it needs to happen, if this is where we are in the sports world where these dudes' bodies are either getting weaker because, some people's like, playing 3 games a day during AAU. I was one of those people. I mean, I'm not a professional, but I wasn't going back crying after that because, I just like to play the sport. But obviously, again, wear and tear towards going towards the NBA. Definitely not an NBA player, so I can understand that. But I really just can't say. I'd prefer if it was 82. I mean, I don't think there's going to be many records broken in the next 20 years if we're going to have these young players going from 82 to 65. I think the number is that we're looking at. And now you're dealing with 17 less games per season. That's going to really hurt anyone. Now some of these records that people think are unbreakable or breakable will now be unbreakable.
Mm-hmm. That's a
Yeah,
good
load
point.
management taken in apart because people think, oh, if you do 65 games, load management won't be a thing anymore. Yes, it will.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to find a reason to let these people get a day off.
Yeah, I will say we do have a stat here from that earlier report we were talking about. The NBA's report says players defined as star players have, so far this decade, missed an average of 23.9 games total per season, which
Sheesh.
is the largest increase over the average number of games by stars in each of the previous 5 decades. So the second highest, we got 23.9. That is last season. Second highest is 2010s with 17.5, and we got 23.9 this decade. So kind of butchered that stat, but hopefully you you understood what I was saying there. But
Yeah, and then if you think about it, the only times when people would actually miss a game purposefully is like when they got their seating good in the before the playoffs, and they would sit them out the last 3 or 4 games.
mm-hmm. That's a good point.
So with the Emirates NBA Cup, NBA wanted to obviously make the regular season more competitive. Do you feel like that was a good addition by the NBA?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm not I'll go on and out myself. I hate the NBA play, and I don't even think this is going to be doing much
No,
because I think.
the Emirates NBA Cup, not the play-in.
Oh no, I was about to put on something. I was going to
Oh,
say that I don't
my
like a
bad.
lot of these changes that Adam Silver is bringing on because I thought the NBA plan was kind of corny in a couple ways. I'm more for it now, but just I was saying that we need to go back to the rules where it was like if you're 2 games out or more, then you can't compete in it. But again, you got to bring in that dough. I can understand it. In this case, again, they saw the results of it last year. It's never going to go away now. But I don't really think $100,000 is going to make a lot of these guys play harder just for the chance of winning an in-season tournament with no significance. Some people were trying to bring out little prizes or whatever towards the team for winning the Emirates Cup. I've even heard people say it should come with an automatic playoff bid. Hell no. Those lower tier teams will play harder for that just to get that 8th seed and going to get knocked out of the first round. But at the same time, again, I don't really think there's going to be too much significance towards it for the players to even want to play harder. Last year, Lakers won. Good for them. But, $100,000 for the lower tier players, great for them. That's a good little chunk of change for them. But I don't really see what the need of it is. And if it's just viewership, then I guess, because I never really was, last year at least, really enthused enough to sit down and watch it. I think the courts are pretty cool. That's as much as I'll give them.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way they were gonna let the script writers not let LeBron win the first in-season tournament cup. Like, of course he was gonna win. I could have told you that at the start of the season before even seeing him play a game.
Book
Like,
it,
LeBron
put it
was
in
gonna take
Vegas,
that
make some money off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had the banner night too for it. It definitely went
Yes, bro. Oh my god.
The banner was soft, man. That was just,
crazy.
Already won the most championships, second most championships now out of everybody. Why are we gonna put up a banner for the in-season?
I wonder if any other team's gonna do it. Like if the team that wins this year, I wonder if they're gonna do it.
Any team with no significance to their franchise, if they put up a banner, they're getting made fun of to the end of time. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If the Clippers were to somehow win it, I will not go on Twitter that night. I wouldn't be very happy with that because I already know what's going to happen. It's like, oh, y'all can't win a ring, so y'all got to win the in-season tournament. I already know. That's exactly how that would go down.
hey, imagine 50 years from now, people are arguing in-season tournament wins over championships and stuff. That would be insane.
Yeah, the legacy, the resume argument's gonna it's a whole different tier right there.
Yeah. All
You
the
could say-
sports pages being like, oh, another case for the GOAT, LeBron James with the in-season tournament ring.
You could also say the same for like the Eastern Conference Finals and Western Conference Finals MVPs too.
Oh,
like, is that
yeah.
gonna take into effect?
Mm-hmm.
People are someone's gonna bring it up in like in a serious manner, and it's just gonna be like, all right,
TikTok's going to be like more advanced in 50 years, and someone's going to say that, which would be like, bro, no, just don't take any advice off of TikTok in the slightest.
Dude, I completely forgot about the Western Conference Finals MVP and Eastern Conference. Like that, I think that is dumb. That is so stupid to add an MVP for the, like, you didn't even win the championship yet, and you're already handing out awards. They might as well give second place for the NBA Finals a new trophy too, and put them up a second place banner.
Oh no! Oh no!
You know, like if we're getting to that point, it's turning into a cupcake league. You know.
Because people already don't like participation trophies in the first place. That is definitely not a participation trophy. Don't get me wrong, but that is definitely something. Because I mean, sure, you made it to the finals. Here's the MVP of the first 3 series, but it's really just the one series. Almost saw what his name, Cody Martin, win it 2 years ago. Caleb Martin win it 2 years ago. That would be crazy. I'm sure that would have been the highlight of his career. And I don't even mean that in a rude way, but yeah, I would have been like, yeah, best player in the series in 2022.
As a Celtics fan, he deserved it.
I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but we were talking about like with NBA shooting a lot of threes and that affecting viewership. And Shaq said that like everybody's running in the same place with the damn top of the key dribble handoff leading to a three. He said he was talking to a coach yesterday. He said they want to shoot 53s a game. Do you feel like that has a little bit of effect too as in the game?
I won't even say threes ruin the game. I'm just going to say analytics ruin the game.
Interesting.
Let's unpack it.
Yeah, it's just analytics because it's the basic rule of if you can hit threes at I think it's like a 35 or 37% clip compared to hitting twos at like a 40 to 45 to 50% clip, you're going to eventually outscore the twos and blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but everyone's doing it now. When we had the small ball, what was that? When we had the small ball Suns back in the early 2000s, that was a counterculture. This is the culture now.
I was gonna say, I don't think I've ever seen so many pull-up threes on like 3-on-1 fast breaks, 2-on-1 fast breaks. Like the amount of pull-up threes, like players are running to the corners instead of like running their lanes in transition. It's insane.
Yeah, and some of these coaches will even pull you for not taking the three.
Yeah, it's like
it's the analytics that's ruining it. Like I tell people all the time, like, please don't be a nerd when it comes to like NBA debates. Now I'm like, please don't be a nerd when it comes to the NBA in general. Like I am a nerd, but I don't care about the percentage of getting a win if you shoot this many threes. Like just play ball, make it work. But now, again, it's become the culture. So now you got to keep up with the Joneses. Everybody's got to have someone that can shoot threes. People are getting knocked out of the league for not being able to shoot a three very well. It's a lot of craziness that, again, I watch the NBA every night, so I'm forced to see it. And it's just like, bro, you could have drove in. You could have attacked the basket, passed it to the other guy. Do a 3-man weave. Why we gotta take a pull-up three? Just do a 3-man weave or something.
Exactly.
Drive in, get the guy to commit to you, throw it out to the corner. Why does this got to be, okay, the guy's just going to stand back there, ball handler, shoot the three? It's like, no, bro. Come on. Do something else.
Yeah, we're even seeing like Anthony Edwards this season. He's taking a lot more 3-point attempts.
Yeah, he's going to do that.
And then I think even Vucevic is shooting 50% from three, or he might be under that now, but at one point he was shooting 50%.
Also, Shea. Yeah,
wow.
Shea.
Shea.
Wavelength.
What game was it we were watching the other day? And you, I wasn't watching it at the time. I was like doing something, and you were like, "Does Shea only shoot threes now?" And I was like,
I think he took 12 threes. 12.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Yeah, Shea threes. I turned the game on in like 2 minutes. I saw him shoot 4 threes, and I was like, wow.
Last night,
he's one of the few players that don't really even need to be effective. That's the crazy thing.
He was in the MVP convo, led his team to the first seed before when he was taking 1 3, 0 threes a game.
Yeah.
I remember his line on FanDuel was 0.5, and I was like, oh, it's a lock. And it didn't hit. Like
it never hit.
He didn't shoot one. I was like, now he's taking 12. Speaking of that, Wemby's shot diet last night, 50% of his shots last night were threes. He took 12 threes. Hit 6 of them, but took 12 threes. So like that's like okay. 7. Well, I mean, what is he like 7'5", shooting 50% of his shots?
And now I think about it. Hey, Greg Popovich isn't there not to tell him to do that. So you never know. He might have that freedom now.
It's true. Basically, go out and cook. That's pretty much the game plan. Now
he's not gonna be yelled at.
but he has a bag. Remember, it's all about the bag now, y'all.
Yeah.
He has a bag.
He did a sham god in game. Come on. That was tough.
Yeah, that one play against the Celtics last year that like broke a record for most viewed video. Just him being literally him doing a layup, like a Space Jam pull your arm out thing. I was like, shoot, that's the most viewed play. Granted, I understand, like, to the average person, that's like amazing. But I was like, dang, I never thought something so simple from a 7'5" person would be the record-breaking play that everybody's just like, damn.
Yeah.
It's crazy watching him because he does not look 7'4". He looks taller. He has to be like 7'6". Because I was watching the Mavericks game on opening night, and he was standing next to Derek Lively, and he made Derek Lively look short, man. I don't know if it's just because of his like very skinny frame or what it is, but dude, I don't think he's 7'4".
He is a very lanky individual, so I think that does contribute to it. But I'm glad I let you finish your statement because I thought you were going to say he looks shorter, and I was about to explode. So I'm glad.
Yeah, same here. I thought the same thing. I was like, is he about to call him short?
I like sat up a little bit, and I was like, all right, patience. So I'm glad I was patient this time. But yeah. I mean, Wemby could be that new global star. Like I mentioned earlier, they don't have it. Him being an international player too, Europe from France, it could be him. We've never seen anything like him before.
But he has the same issue, and it's not even. Again, I'm not even saying that in a negative tone because he's very humble. But he has the same issue. He's not very, not very not passionate. That's the wrong word. He doesn't have that much of a personality. Like I remember, like I do, love the dude because he is very humble. But I remember him even saying like, at 10 o'clock, I turn my phone off and put it on airplane mode and go read a book. I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard to make that guy the face of the league. He's gonna be the face of the league just off his vitals alone. But I'm like, you're not gonna see too many viral moments because of what he does off the court or something like that. Yeah. It's gonna be mainly just his plays and his plays only.
That's like another funny thing someone said is how like right now James Harden is a superstar, but Jokic isn't, is because outside of a basketball jersey, you know who James Harden is. You'll know who Jokic is. You just think he's some big Serbian dude. Same is going to be true with Wemby. Like you're not going to know who he is outside of a basketball jersey.
Nah, if I saw a 7'5" dude, some alien walking down, I'm calling Area 51. I would know that. I would for sure know who Wembanyama was if he would have walked right by me. If he would have came to my gym alone, I'd be like, what the fuck? What is Wembanyama doing?
Dude, yo, is that Wemby?
No, I'm saying to the casual person that doesn't watch sports. To an NBA fan, yeah, you're going to know. You can't miss this dude whenever he has a game.
Yeah, because have you seen those videos where it's like Shaq going in public wearing like a hoodie, trying to see how long it takes for someone to recognize him? And it's like immediate.
It's like you can't hide your big ass, bro. Like we know it's you.
One thing that you brought up was or one thing I wanted to mention actually was like the face of the league being like you guys were saying it's personality, but I saw one thing people were saying that it's not personality, it's because these young guys don't have championships or hardware to prove that they have a resume yet in the NBA, and that's why they can't find the face of the league yet for the NBA. So what are your thoughts on that?
That is definitely fair because Tatum is 28, I think.
I think he's 20.
Tatum. Yeah, Tatum's like 28, 29. Then it was Jokic before, then Curry. Who won in 2021 again?
The Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks. So Giannis is now 30. Before that, it was the Heat, not the Heat, the Lakers. And LeBron's LeBron. Yeah, that makes sense. None of them really has made it to that point yet, early in their career, and obviously that's a hard thing to do. And even then, if let's just say Shea wins one this year, he's 26. Yeah, so I'd say that's a pretty decent range to put him in. He's been in the league since 2018, 2017. Yeah, so yeah, that makes sense. I can see that.
All right, so if we took a final vote, let's each give one thing. What do we all think is like the absolute biggest problem after discussing all of these different topics? Let's go one by one. Alvini, you could start. What out of everything we've discussed, it could be even some we haven't discussed or touched on. What do you think? What would you attribute the number one problem in viewership being to?
All right, so we got the injuries, we got the analytics, and then we got the face of the league problem. Ooh.
Streaming services.
Yeah, streaming services. Yeah, so people can't even watch the games. Okay, I'm gonna say either streaming services or I'm gonna say style of play. I'm gonna say that gets more annoying to just people in general because how repetitive it is. So, okay, I'm gonna say streaming services for right now. People just can't even watch the games in the first place.
Kevin, what do you think?
Try to think of something different. I was thinking streaming services. I think it definitely is the biggest thing, but I don't want to piggyback off Alvini here. So I'm gonna go ahead and say innovation. The NBA or like lack of creativity with innovation. With switching up the All-Star game, didn't really get a whole lot of people to watch it or even get the players themselves to try.
True. That's a good point.
NBA Cup is still new. It could be great, but based off the trajectory and the memes that we saw from the internet with like the Lakers having a banner night for it, I feel like a lot of people are just gonna call it like clown now. Whoever wins, like, oh, they win the in-season tournament. Ah, cool. Like that's pretty much what it's gonna be. So I think the lack of innovation is something that might be one of their biggest issues.
Vic?
If I had to pick, I think it's either streaming services or the social media. I think social media like has a very powerful influence on the way people think and like react to stuff. So like everybody's seeing like only a couple guys on their highlight feed from like House of Highlights or Bleacher Report, seeing those couple highlights. They're only exposed to a couple of players when in reality there's a lot of players that aren't being covered or teams that are doing surprisingly well this season that aren't being talked about enough because we want to constantly talk about the same 5 things over and over again with the NBA.
Got you. I'm surprised. I was expecting at least 2 of you to say this, but I think style of play for sure. I think there's certain things like the mid-range shot is essentially gone besides a few players in the league. That being Shea, which even I feel like is shifting away from the mid-range, but DeRozan comes to mind. There's probably others I'm missing, but I think there's just a multitude of 3-point shots being taken, obviously, and just analytics alone are just I won't say they're ruining the game, but they're definitely meshing teams into a single type of play style. So it's hard. There's some teams you watch, and it's just hard to tell what the difference between two teams is. Like they're all doing the same thing. And that's why I think teams like the Mavericks, where it's like Luka, and he's just like cooking defenders in a multitude of ways, is so much more interesting than watching like I'll say my Boston Celtics like just like throw up threes the whole game. I like watching it because I'm a fan, but like, for someone who's not a fan, I'm sure that can get annoying. And I know people have talked about the Celtics specifically before.
Now, what did you think about opening night when they missed like, what was it, 7 straight threes or something like that to break the record?
I think it was it 11 or 13?
Actually, no, yeah, it was more than that. Yeah,
I think it was like 13.
Yeah, I watched the whole fourth. It was a blowout. I was like, all right, let's break this record. Started the fourth, went until 27 seconds left or something. Jordan Wall shoots a 3 and it just airballs. And I'm like, I can't believe I just watched this entire blowout to see us not break the record.
And then they had one more opportunity. And then when Peyton Pritchard didn't want to shoot, they all booed him.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate being Peyton Pritchard. I don't remember what he shot. I know he took at least 4 threes that quarter. So he had his shots and they were open. Like we had Sam Hauser on the floor and he's shooting wide open threes and just throwing up bricks.
Hey,
so it's like
he wasn't at half court. That's why he didn't make it. He has to get half court.
They subbed him in at halftime to shoot that shot. I swear.
He was too close to the hoop. But I think like what you said, I think style of play and just like 3-point shooting is probably the most common answer that you're going to find from like if you interview people on the street or whatever. But I think analytics is an extremely, extremely underrated answer that not a lot of people think about.
It's the deeper meaning, but behind why, like the face value is the threes and layups. The deeper meaning is the analytics. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Cause and effect.
I think it was Mike D'Antoni I saw that explained it that way about like, oh, if you take, like I said, you make like 35% of your threes compared to like 45% of your twos, then the threes are going to eventually outpace the twos. And I'm just like, that's not the way to play basketball. You just play ball. You have a strategy, but if everyone's strategy is the same thing, that gets really boring. Like, I got like an NBA account, so I'm able to watch old games. Sometimes if I'm bored, I'll just watch like an old game, and just seeing the different strategies that people will do back in the 2000s is a lot more interesting than, what we got nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, when it comes to like big man shooting middies, when it comes to how defenses will react to star players trying to drive in and stuff like that, watching young LeBron, stuff like that. Nowadays, again, it's like everyone is playing the exact same way, and the only way you're going to really be able to see something different is seeing a star player play in their signature way. But even then, just going to your Celtics, Jason Tatum, I see him settle for threes way too often, especially after his first game performance when he hit like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to see him drive in more, but he will do that step back or sideways or that sidestep three till it's not even cool anymore. he will keep shooting no matter what.
That's true. It is relieving. He definitely overshoots. He has his moments, but it is relieving from his early years in the league watching him just shoot and miss turnaround fades, trying to be Kobe in the mid range. So overall, he's been better, but yeah, it does get annoying, like seeing him just pop threes and they're just back rim long rebounds. There goes the other team on a fast break. So yeah. So I think we've covered a lot of bases, but Alvini, before we wrap up here, we do have an extra segment. We do have a bonus interactive segment. And this is a blind rank of Clippers legends. We're going to have you blind rank 10, in our opinion, Clippers legends. And we're going to see how your list turns out. So we have 10 players, and we're going to give you the player, and we're going to have you just put them on a list 1 through 10.
Oh God. So, and then it's on me to determine what type of players you're going to be giving me in the first place, right?
Yep. Pretty much. All right, so your first player is Luke Mbamute.
All right. Nice little 3-and-D player. Had him for I think 2 years. That was the joke. We never had a great small forward, and then Kawhi just happens to come to our team. I feel like there'll be somebody worse. Let's put him at 9.
All right, we got Luke Mbamute at number 9.
And then it becomes a 3-point demon with Houston. That annoyed me so much.
That's right. I forgot about that.
All right, second, we got Spencer Hawes.
Oh, my God. Okay. Yeah, okay, now, I understand what this is now. Okay, good thing I put him at 8. All right, let's put Spencer at... He was mostly a bench player, though. Let's put him at 9. It can't get any worse than this, can it?
We got Spencer Hawes at 9.
Wasn't Luke Mob? I have trouble saying his
I
name.
I believe I said 8. If I didn't say 8, then dang.
Oh, okay.
I think you said 9, but we'll move him. We'll move him to 8. We'll give you one forgive
okay,
placement
so
there.
8, 9. I'll make sure I remember this now.
Yeah, the list gets better for sure.
Kevin, you can go ahead and give the next one.
All right, Alvini, your third player, Elton Brand.
Ooh, okay. Elton Brand as a Clipper. One time All-Star. Shout out him and Caveman, Chris Kaman. So let's see. I'm going to give him number 4.
All right. Elton Brand at number 4. Alvini, your fourth player is Matt Barnes.
Oh, God. Shout out Kanye. Okay, so obviously better than Luke. So let's go with 7.
All right. Matt Barnes at 7.
Favorite jump shot in 2K13, I believe. Had a funky looking jump shot.
Facts. All right. Your fifth player is Alfariq Aminu.
He only played like 1 year there. Okay, 10. That's an immediate 10. It was like his rookie year, and then he got traded to, what was it, New Orleans, I think?
Something like that. All right, but at number 6, we got Big Baby Glenn Davis.
Okay, so I'm confident in my stuff now. So what I put Matt Barnes at 7, so we can put him at. Wait, no.
Yeah, you did. You
Okay,
have.
so he can go at 6 then. He can go at 6. Saying he's better than Matt Barnes might get me in trouble.
All right, your next player, number 7, the caveman, Chris Kaman.
Okay, cool. All right, so under old buddy, so 5.
All right, Chris Kaman.
So Elton
5.
Brand over Chris Kaman.
So you got the first, second, and third spots left on your list.
And I've been set up. I already know it. just go on and hit me.
At number 8, we got Pat Bev.
God!
Where you placing him?
Okay. 3, 2, 1. All right. Put him at number 3. Golly.
All right, and in your top 2 spots, you are going to have to place Russell Westbrook.
Damn it. Oh. You know what? Fine. Shout out to him. Give him number 1. I'm going to hate who's number 10 is. He's going to be like the best player here.
All right, your final player coming in at spot number 2, Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers is the second best Clipper on this list. So for the final go-ahead of Alvini Linguine's all-time Clipper legend blind rank, number 1, Russell Westbrook. Number 2, Austin Rivers. Number 3, Pat Bev. Number 4, Elton Brand. Number 5, Chris Kaman. 6, Glenn Davis. 7, Matt Barnes. 8, Luke Mbamute. 9, Spencer Hawes. And 10, Al-Farouq Aminu.
I think you cooked.
Yeah, bro. Again, when I heard Elton Brand, I was like, oh, cool. So this will be, it'll immediately get better. Put him at a safe number 4, and it just got worse. After Spencer Hawes, it got so much worse. And the crazy thing is, I cannot stand Austin Rivers. I like what he says basketball-wise on the internet, but I did not want him on my team. I don't know if y'all remember, but Doc Rivers was the GM at the time. He was the president of basketball operations. Did y'all know that Kevin Durant wanted to be a Clipper?
I did not know that.
Yes, you can look it up. He wanted to be a Clipper. He had a meeting with Doc Rivers. We could have been able to have a big 4 of him, CP3, DJ, and Blake. He wanted to join, and Doc Rivers didn't do it. So let me tell you where he went. Golden State.
Wow.
He signed his son over Kevin Wayne Durant, and I will never forgive him for that. I know it would have made me a bandwagon. I was already a fan before that, but man, that would have been a time if they could have pulled that off.
Yeah, that would have been
just
incredible.
Just like he did down there in Orlando. He did it a second time. How do you allow that to happen a second time? You got a legend that wants to be on your team, and then you say no. I don't know. Obviously, with Tim Duncan, it was you wouldn't allow my family to be on the private plane. You let him get whatever he wants, bro.
Yeah, that was I
don't like Kevin Durant because of what he did to the with the Warriors thing. Obviously, it's a lot more egregious than being on my Clippers, who didn't even make it to the 3rd round. So at least it would have been a lot more excusable. But nah, bro, that will be a forever middle finger to Doc Rivers and his son, just off of the fact that he's related to him.
That's that nepotism we were talking about earlier.
Oh yeah. And then Russ. I mean, I can't hate Russ. I just think that he's a very interesting player to play with because it's either his way or the highway. And 9 times out of 10, even if you give it to him his way, you're not going to win much with him. So shout out to you, Russ. I appreciated what you did in that playoff series against the Suns. I thought we had a chance, but Devin Booker and KD is a hard duo to take down.
I have heard nothing but good things from players who've played with him as a teammate. For him as a teammate, I've heard he's a great teammate, and he gives back to the community. Yeah. So, but anything besides actually being a positive player on the floor, Russell Westbrook is good.
Yeah, I appreciate him for, wanting to, was being fine coming off the bench and all that stuff that came with him being on the team. But it was just when his moments are just so loud. When he has a bad moment, it's just what are you doing? And I was forced to watch that for 2 years, a year and a half. And I was just yeah, Russ. And then sometimes it's get him off the floor.
But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. Alvini, We all appreciate you being here. It's been a super good time, super blessed time. Really fun to have you on. One more time, if you want to go ahead and just plug your channel so everyone knows where to go to find you. Of course, your link will be in the top of the description.
Yes, sir. And like I said, it has been Alvini Linguine, your guide. Want to watch some of the best basketball documentaries out there? You know where to find me. Outside of that, shout out to my Twitter at Alvini_Linguine and my Instagram _Alvini_. And that's all I got. I'm not even much of a social media guy, which is ironic because of my my basketball presence, I guess.
Awesome. And as always, Alvini, you're a big inspiration to us as basketball creators. So we appreciate you all being here. As always, if you want to follow us, we are on Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. We'd appreciate a rating. We'd appreciate a sub and a like. If you stick around, join the family. And as always, until next time, GMLB family, we'll see ya. Peace.